This is season 4, and I am on a mission to help creatives become the most loved versions of themselves. I want to help you step into health in every single area of your life and pursue the authentic creative expression that you feel called to and that only you can. The world feels crazy right now, and we need healthy creatives more than ever. So let's get into it. I'm Courtney Lancaster, and this is the Heal Create podcast. Well, hi, everybody. I am so happy that you're here. This is the last episode of season 4. This is our season finale, and this has been such a rewarding rewarding season when it comes to the guests that I've had, the topics that we've covered. I had this vision at the beginning of the school year to go through, kind of like have a school of for a healthy creative lifestyle. And every single month I wanted to cover a pillar of what a healthy, I would say honestly a healthy person is, but because we have a lot of like creatives, creative women in this community, and men too. But because we have a lot of creative people, I really wanted to support you guys to understand your creative dreams, the things that you're building with your life from like a holistic health standpoint. And so we went over emotional health, nervous system health, spirituality, brain retraining, relationships, physical health, money, and purpose and embodiment. And you can go back and listen to the different episodes. We had, such incredible guests. We had Laura Duncan, one of my favorite friends and teachers. We had Alyssa Dillio. That was one of my favorite episodes, honestly. We had Andy Colbert. We had my friend Whitney Hancock talk about breathwork. We had a freaking Sarah Baldwin, who has been just a life-changing connection for me. I had my friend Stephanie Bagato. I had my husband on the podcast. It was just such an incredible, James Burke was another one. I'm remembering. I had one of my best friends, Jason, on. It was just beautiful. And I would highly encourage you to go back and listen to some of those interviews because they're really helpful and really supportive, and they're experts in their field, supporting us, swirly people to ground and to actually find health. So I don't want to go over all of those pillars necessarily because I have a whole season full of them, but I did want to synthesize the takeaways that I myself have from supporting creatives and also being a creative person and pursuing and cultivating my own healthy, artistic, and creative life, into 10 kind of bullet points for you to be thinking about and wrestling with and hopefully integrating and, building on yourself. So the first point that is more true than it ever has been, it's not going to surprise you, is your dreams will require your healing. That will never change. You have things inside of you that will not leave you alone. And for some of us, they're stronger than others, but it's the desire inside of you. I read a fantastic book by Jay Stringer that I highly recommend called Desire. And he talks about how desire is the most powerful engine within the human, and how he's a psychologist and a researcher. He does just really extensive research on how important it is to pay attention to your desires because they're always trying to show you something that's trying to come alive in you. And you guys already know, I believe that your dreams will highlight to you the things that need healing in your own life. So I want to help people get clear on who they are and what they want. And that's something that I believe is possible for every person to have a vision for their life and to be building. Confusion around what that is usually some blocks and some nervous system blocks that can be healed and navigated through. But everybody has desires. That's what it means to be a human. And I believe that your desires show you what needs to be healed. So we will never stop healing and creating. And I think something that I really learned, or maybe just kind of shifted my perspective on without really thinking about it, was just that we never stop. That this isn't an arrival game. This isn't like once you get there, you'll be okay. And if you think that, once you get there, you'll be okay. What that usually is a part of you that you don't know how to meet yourself, an emotional need that you might need work really sitting with and being with yourself. Because the truth is, like, this life is a dance. This life is like listening to a song. We don't listen to a song to get to the end of the song. We listen to it to enjoy it. And that's what paying attention to your desires, putting sustainable emotional and physical practices into place is for, and being brave, looking at the resistance that comes up, being brave when life throws you curveballs and when things don't go the way you want, and not giving up on the things that you are actually here to do and the ways that you're here to grow just because life gets hard. All of that is a part of a healthy, creative life. And it's not bad news that it doesn't end. It's the most beautiful adventure that you'll ever go on. So the path to your dream is often the path of your healing. I would say probably, actually, every time. The other thing, again, not going to be a surprise to you. Your nervous system isn't your enemy. My beloveds, instead of asking what is wrong with me, please, please, please ask, what is my nervous system trying to protect me from? What is this protecting? I think that the more that you understand that you live in a body whose number one job is to keep you safe, the less interested you become in fixing yourself, and the more interested you become in understanding yourself. Getting to a point where you're just like, life is too much, I just can't handle it, puts you in a victim mentality, and it doesn't increase your nervous system capacity to hold more, which is often why when we get to that point, we are actually just at a max load of what we think we can handle. So change your language around that. What is my nervous system trying to protect me from? You'll notice this with anxiety, procrastination, perfectionism, avoidance. It's protection. It's not pathology. And having that curiosity, knowing that you live in a body that wants to protect you, changes everything and really helps you to, I think, ultimately just have deep compassion on yourself as a human being. Number 3, visibility. Speaking of the nervous system, visibility is a safety issue. So what I mean by that is most of the people that I support have a dream that in one way or another is going to put them in front of more eyes than they're used to. And the body doesn't know the difference between like normal, neutral people and the potential for threat, meaning the body thinks that the more eyes that are on you, the more risk is in your life. There was a video that I did a stitch on Instagram from Brandon Lake, and he talks about how he went from being like a small town, kind of like church basement worship leader to like sitting in some of the biggest rooms and leading on some of the biggest stages, and how he was in like the darkest part of his life. And he talked about, you know, how his counselor told him like, you need to go to God first. And that's great and beautiful. And at the same time, I can also tell you that what happens when you move towards your dreams and there's a potential for more eyes on you, or maybe you're like Brandon Lake and suddenly there's like a million eyes on you, your body just sees threat everywhere, and it will put you in a deep protective state if you're somebody like him. And that's not, when your state creates your story, the story that comes from those dark places, because your body's just trying to protect you from all of this new attention, doesn't even make total sense. It's just your body trying to find, your body's like, okay, there's threat in my body. What's happening in my present day circumstance? Like, where's the problem? And then your brain just starts to think that everything's wrong or something's wrong with you. So we want to safely practice being seen. That is the only way to increase our capacity to hold more eyeballs, to hold attention. And that also means the potential for judgment, and increasing your capacity to stand with yourself and be with yourself when the risk of people not liking what you're doing might feel really big. We want to safely practice being seen. That's actually why I created this group coaching course. It starts July Tuesday in June 16th, I believe. And it goes for 6 weeks. And we are going to practice being seen. We are going to see each other. We're going to go through our vision for what we have for our life. And of course, you don't have to share anything that you don't want to share. But what I really wanted to create was a container of really sacred safety to where you can explore who you are, get really clear on the dreams that you have, and learn how to move towards them, learn how to face what's in the way, all while being seen by other people that are on the same journey and by me, and knowing that you are absolutely okay. That brings me to a story, and also my fourth takeaway for the creative life. The hard truth and the beautiful truth of the creative life is that authenticity is very expensive, but it is worth it. Being yourself can cost you approval. It can cost you certainty. It sometimes feels like it costs you belonging. Pretending costs you more. However, over time, pretending to be somebody that you're not will begin to feel like an irritation, but will turn into a weight that will sit at the bottom of your stomach. And that invitation into your true self, I believe it will never let you go, but it might really start to feel heavy after a while. So it can feel very scary to be yourself, especially if you feel called to be somebody with a message, be a public person. If you are an artist making art, or you have a blog or a book, or you want to, put yourself out on social media, that can feel like grief sometimes before it feels like freedom, because it will bring up the deepest insecurities, which can also bring up some of the pain around like how these parts of you have gone untended for so long. I know for me, one of the biggest lessons that I learned in my personal life, I mean, I don't know if I would call it a lesson, it was an experience, but I had a post on Instagram that went viral. I think it's up to like 1.6 million now. And it was me talking about my relationship with worship leading. If you guys have been here, you guys know that this has been something that I've been really, really challenged by, blessed by, walking my own road of deconstructing my Christian faith in my 30s, and then finding my way back to it in a way that honored my body. I like to say that the health, the mental, physical, emotional well-being of the worshiper is just as important as the one that we worship. And that was a point that I was trying to make online about how I was able to gently find myself back in church, and eventually singing with my friends these songs, these spiritual practices of the Christian faith in a way that felt really connecting and healing and beautiful. And then I eventually found my way back to the worship stage. And all while there are things about evangelical Christianity that I don't agree with, that I wrestle with, and that I have found from working with so many people, so many of us do. And I remember, I guess it was like 2 months ago, I was like, let's talk about this online. I put this post in, and I closed my laptop, and I just remember sleeping, so peacefully. And then I woke up and it was like exploded with negative comments. And I think that the little Christian girl in me really needed to be healed in ways that I did not even realize. She needed to know how deeply loved she was. She needed to know that her behavior or her decisions or her expression or her authenticity would not disqualify her from the love of God, that it was hers forever. And that that I'm just so willing to stand next to myself, even if I do make mistakes publicly. I think I really realized that when you get that much shame and judgment, and it's been about 8 weeks and I still get comments every day calling me the Antichrist, calling me Satan, calling me, telling me I'm going to hell, I'm leading people to hell, I'm, all of these things that I'm like, wow, this is, I guess I knew that this is a part of religious communities. I just haven't had it directed at me so loudly. And have talked about it with a lot of different people, but I think at the end of the day, it was like the most strengthening thing that I could have gone through, because I realized how much I really do. As a hill that I'm willing to die on, that like we are children of God. We are not meant to, I remember one worship leader saying, one very, very famous worship leader telling us, we want to get to the end of our life bloody and beaten and bruised for the cause of Christ. I do not agree with that. Not that we won't go through really hard things, but for the cause of Christ, I think for a lot of people that gives the message that we need to ignore our actual health and our actual true self. When you realize how much of your adult life comes from your 0 to 8-year-old childhood development programming, childhood development science, like is such a gift of grace from God, because we realize that like healing our childhood stories is like some of the most beautiful proven ways to actually heal our adult present day experiences. And I have podcast episodes on that with Laura Duncan, also with Stephanie Bagato. And I just think it just helped me resolve even more that like, if my faith tradition, some people in my own faith tradition do not believe that I should be there, it's not really any of my business. I know why I'm here. I know what my message is. I know who God is. I'm also willing to be wrong, and I'm willing to continue to grow. But I think that like, it really felt like a weird relief. This is something that I've believed and thought about and talked about for years. There are a lot of people that were like, wow, I'm so sorry you're struggling. And I just want to say like, well, not anymore. I mean, not that I'm not wrestling through my own present day processes, but my faith is not something that I'm like wrestling with. Like, it's actually a very grounded place for me at this point. It's not instability to be uncertain about certain pillars of theology. It's pretty human. And to be fully certain is actually a lot of, it's not very human. Even like, to be certain is not very childlike, which is what Jesus invites us into. Jesus also invites us, to consider ourselves as well as children. So, like I said, authenticity is expensive, but it is so worth it, because, pardon my language, but it really does make you pretty unfuckable to have people spew hate at you every day. Like, and some of it was true. Like some of it had, or I should say, some of it had like threads of truth in it. Things I need to think about, things I need to be careful about when I'm talking about a very cherished and sacred spiritual practice of Christianity. And I want to learn from that. And also like, what a relief to be myself. What a relief. And I want to tell you that most of the time, nobody cares. Even the meanest people on Instagram, they click, they comment, they probably move on to the next thing to comment about. They're not like obsessing about you. And if they are, that's weird. That's psychotic. Okay, number 5, healthy people create beautiful things that serve the world around them. I've definitely rejected the tortured artist narrative. That is one of the reasons why I got into this business in the first place, was to really turn that on its head and like promote healthy creativity and healthy art. Emotional health, it doesn't diminish creativity. It actually expands it. It might feel like it slows it down at first, because you have to do a little bit of like healing work. You have to put some pieces in place. You might need to take some time to do some different, grieving or like helping heal your nervous system. But it is the thing that brings you safety, connection, joy, regulation. And that gives artists and creatives greater access to their gifts. You don't need to suffer to create meaningful work in the world. And also, healthy people make art that makes the world around them a better place. This fear of like, if we pay attention to our desires, we're going to become these like hedonistic people that are disconnected from the world and that are selfish and greedy. That's actually the fruit of an unhealthy person, not a well-loved child of God. Number 6, trusting yourself is a practice, a daily practice. What it's looked like for me to really grow my self-trust is to almost see the part of me that wants to just run into the future and like be all these things and be totally free, and holding that and really honoring that, like, that is just this drive in me, this like little kid excited drive. I remember when I would go to Disneyland as a kid, not the only, one of the big events that we did every year. We didn't do a lot, but we did go to Disneyland every year, once a year. And I just remember I didn't even care about eating breakfast. I just remember getting there and wanting to run to every single ride. And, I would like get tired and I would tucker myself out and like run out of energy. And what self-trust looks like to me is like really honoring that part of me still exists. And also there's another healthy adult that is protective and has control and can parent that part of me. And like going back and forth between those two parts almost is how I myself have cultivated and continue to cultivate self-trust. And it's also built through evidence. So I think like collecting evidence of all of the times when I trusted the thing that lit me up and I walked with myself through that thing and I was able to see it come to fruition. Like paying attention to those wins in my life has helped me only grow my trust muscle. Number 7, you are not lazy or blocked. You are scared. This year, I probably have developed just, unprecedented amounts of compassion for creative blocks. Underneath your struggle, the resistance, the seeming invisible wall between you and the things that you long to move towards, even the things that you're not clear about, but there's more for you, is just a nervous system that's trying to stay safe. And like I said, understanding creates movement. But my key takeaway for really seeing how many of us actually think that we are procrastinators, that we're never going anywhere, that we're behind, that we're lazy, has been that compassion is transformative. If you can approach all of your stuck and resistant patterns with deep compassion in the way that you would for your very best friend, that transforms 1,000 times better than criticism and shame. It's just your self-protective system, and that is healable. Number 8, I really loved the month that we talked about money. I did an episode on money and I got so much feedback from it. It was about all the money stories that I hear, and I'm very committed to healing my own money stories. But number 8 is money is about more than money. Money is something that every creative is a beast you're going to have to wrestle with. We, especially as 4s, if you are an Enneagram 4, which is very common for creatives, like I said, and even if you're not, a lot of us have this sort of like secret subconscious even desire or dream that some kind of windfall is going to happen. I think we see it a lot on Instagram too. We see like this like manifestation culture, which is not bad, but it turns into, or maybe even in church culture, we see like breakthrough culture or miracle culture. That's all of those are beautiful and allowed. Please, I'm very open to miracles and I hope that you are too. At the same time, what I see it handicapping people when they are waiting on that to happen to them. And they think that the reason why their dreams aren't coming true is because that hasn't happened for them. You have to get really clear about what your money stories actually are. I would encourage you to go back over that episode about money. The money conversations are identity conversations, and worthiness and support and visibility and receiving, they're all wrapped up in it. Learning to receive and also managing your finances and doing what it takes to fund your dreams requires growth, and it requires looking at all of it to start. If that feels like a mountain in front of you, just do the next right thing. Like get more familiar with your money. Like listen to that episode. This is the third time I've said that. Listen to that episode. See what money stories really resonate with you. There's so many different podcasts, so many different books and resources. I really loved, I love Rachel Rogers for this. She's really a fantastic resource. Sarah Baldwin also has some really great podcasts and things about it, but there are literally so many. And doing the hard work of facing your finances, I think, is like actually a huge part of a healthy creative life that we don't really talk about because it's not so fun, and it will set you free. It will absolutely set you free to face your finances, heal your money stories, and step into your like determination to do what it takes to fund the things that light you up. Number 9, let's talk about grief. Grief is a healthy and beautiful part of the process. Do you know that grief shows your body that the thing that happened to you is over? How does grief show up in the creative life? Well, grief shows up when we outgrow a version of ourselves, when we step into something that scares us and we recognize that there are younger parts of us that actually need support that we have never seen before. That can break your heart. When people don't want to go with us on the journey, that is the grief that will surprise people sometimes. When people don't like what you're doing, that grief is really important too. And we leave behind, because we're here to grow. We are created beings. We're here to grow. That's really normal. I mean, even when you think about like your beliefs, I know I said this either on this podcast or on Instagram, but like, can you think of a belief that you had 10 years ago that you no longer hold today? Well, imagine 10 years from now, the beliefs that you're going to look back on and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I believed that. Like, we expand out of beliefs. We expand out of old identities, out of ways of relating to people. It's not the evidence that something is wrong. It's the evidence that something new is emerging and that we get to let go of the things that are no longer a part of the life that we're trying to build, the things that we've outgrown. Don't mistake discomfort for misalignment. Grief is a beautiful process it's an actual physical process of sitting with a body that is moving from familiar things that don't serve us anymore into unfamiliar things that are in more alignment. Number 10, I'm really excited to mention this on this podcast, although I feel like it's going to actually be a pretty big theme for next year. And before I get to it, I want to tell you guys that in my own journey, in my own work with my own somatic practitioner over the last 6 years, and then before that, work with, therapists and coaches. And I was very sure that all of my healing was leading me to more joy and peace and strength, all of the good things. As I have been going through my own process, especially this year, and especially in my last, in the sessions that I've had in the last year, I have been very surprised to find that my whole journey has been leading me not as much. I mean, there is absolute joy and strength and peace, but this whole journey of healing has actually led me to healthy aggression. Healthy aggression is so under talked about. It's underrated. And the way that I learned about aggression in the first place was that it was something that was always covering a more tender emotion underneath. So it was covering sadness, vulnerability. Aggression was covering fear, like scared feelings. And I won't even say that that's not wrong, but I will tell you that being encouraged to not explore aggression is actually anti-biology, because we're wired to protect innocence, we're wired to protect ourselves. And if you look at a lion trying to protect her cubs, a lioness, she kills, she'll kill a predator as fast as possible to protect her cubs. And yet we don't know how to activate that protective sense inside of us. And that is exactly where your confidence lies. It doesn't mean that you're an angry person. It means that you have a deep fierceness inside of you that can handle hate, can handle uncertainty, can handle bad days, and can hold you like a very strong parent. And I think, especially as women, if you're a woman listening, and men too, we don't know how to cultivate this because we don't want to be in blame, which that's unhealthy aggression. We don't want to lash out. We don't want to fight other people. A lot of us are conflict avoidant and are afraid we're going to hurt people. Hurting people is unhealthy aggression. We're so afraid of unhealthy aggression that in my experience, for myself and with the people that I've worked with, we're not fully stepping into our healthy aggression, which is the thing that completes the stress cycle of a lot of the trauma and the fear that we hold in our body. So I want to talk more about this next year. I will say, like, as a creative, as a person on a human journey, explore your relationship with anger, but make sure that you take absolute radical responsibility for everything that triggers you. So when you're exploring your anger, it doesn't mean explore all the people that piss you off. It doesn't mean explore all of the situations in your life that you just cannot take anymore. I want you to explore your anger, your healthy aggression, in a way where you are going to be exploring your own power. Because the big things that you want, like, especially if you want to be visible, if you want to be like connected and soft, and you want to be vulnerable with your story, or you want to build something that no one's seen before and is going to invite a lot of feedback and criticism, or you want to be really feminine and flowy, all of those things are going to need an equal measure of healthy aggression and power. The people that you look up to, that are really like leading movements or leading powerful things, they have both fierceness and softness. They hold both in their body, and you can tell that they are the most accessible, beautiful, wonderful people, but you would never cross them. And that is very healthy, incredibly healthy. It's the healthy aggression is so much of what our body has been waiting for. Our body has been waiting to know that somebody is online that will protect us, that will be here, and that it is actually safer to move towards your dreams than you ever thought. So exploring your relationship with anger in general, like, listen to an angry song, see how you feel. Like, just squeeze your fists together and like, make that mama bear sound. See how that feels. Do you notice shame and fear? Does it feel foreign? Can you let yourself like feel into that a little bit more? It's essential. We're going to talk about it coming up, but for now, those are the things. The beautiful and hard truths about the creative life. Listen, love changes people more than shame ever will. Love will change you. Compassion will change you. Curiosity will change you and heal you and help create the conditions where transformation and creativity and healing become possible. So understand yourself to be a beautifully well-loved child of God. Take your desires seriously, not always literally, but take them seriously. And know that you're here to have the time of your life. I really really believe that for you. You are here to have the time of your life. And if you're facing something so dark and so confusing, or you're constructing an identity after realizing that you've built your life around who other people wanted you to be, I want you to know that it's very possible and you're going to make it. It wouldn't bother you if there wasn't deep healing for you. So I love you guys. You can always reach out to me via email, Courtney at courtneyandheart.com. I have resources on my website for you to continue with if you want to do visualizations and meditations all around healing your nervous system and creating. I have the Heal Create course, which is a self-led course that you can go through. It's kind of the school for creatives. I also have the Heal Create Collective, which is a 6-week small group that we start on June 16th, like I talked about. And if you join this, it's $349, so it's like less than $60 session. If you join this Heal Create Collective, you actually have access to everything, all of my resources. Rehearsing goodness, understanding your navigating your nervous system, the 10 gifts meditation, which is childhood development meditations, to heal your childhood stories, and the daily design practice, and the Heal Create course. So, guys, I believe in you. I'm here for you. And I love you. Happy season 4 ending. I will see you next school year.